I'm here with Barbara Levine from Exam Coordinators Network, one of the winning women. Tell me a little bit about the impetus behind founding your company.
Sure. My background is in insurance defense. I practiced for 16 years prior to forming ECN, and a lot of my litigation claims had medical evaluations as part of the injury record, and a lot of the medical evaluations were not accurate or adequate to support my case. So along with a friend of mine and we decided that we could bring some professionalism to the industry. It's a very unregulated industry. There's no cost of entry. There's no requirement to get into the field. So with my legal background and his medical background, we came together and formed an organization that we thought could bring some professionalism to the industry of getting independent medical evaluations.
What year was that?
That was 1999, and then we reorganized in 2003. Between 1999 and 2003, we were a regional company. In 2003, we rebranded and reorganized into a national company.
What were some of the barriers to entry for you in the early years that you had to overcome?
Competition, being a small company and competing against large national players, getting the name out, branding, just getting the word out that you're out there and what you had to offer that was better than the rest of the competition.
So how did you develop a value proposition that differentiated yourself from the competitors?
Professionalism, having the background in law and medicine that was related to the industry, bringing that to the table, and integrity with our physician panel that we use, credentialing them to make sure that they're the highest qualified physicians that can actually support, stand behind any medical report that was issued.
Interesting. How did you communicate that message to prospects to be able to build your client base?
One-on-one meetings. That was probably the hardest thing, was just getting in the door. Mm-hmm. Once we were in the door, we were able to sell the proposition. It was obvious that we were professionals and had industry experience, and that did differentiate us. We also offered continuing education courses. Mm-hmm. We started a school for insurance adjusters where we enabled ourselves to get out there by offering free classes for credit to adjusters so that we would get more face exposure to potential clients.
You mentioned a lot of one-on-ones. Talk about the importance of relationships in your business and how you use what you do to foster your relationships.
Sure. Well, relationships are key. Communication is the most important thing. If for some reason there is a problem, the last thing in the world you want is to not know about it. So making sure there's open communication when times are good and when times are bad, working through the processes, admitting if you made a mistake, getting out in front of it, doing the right thing to resolve, always being available to the clients. That's very important in our business, is that they have access to the top level of the organization.
How do you identify opportunities for growth and expanding the organization?
Well, it's an interesting question. The opportunities are everywhere, and the longer we're in business, the more we realize how many opportunities there are, because any employer that has more than 5 employees runs the risk of having a workers' compensation claim submitted at some point. So all employers are potential targets for us. All insurance companies across all lines of coverage, disability, auto, liability, attorneys, it really runs the gamut. And the more we're in business, the more we recognize how important employers are, as entrepreneurs are, as a potential source of business.
How do you stay focused enough to go out there and hit those one at a time with so many opportunities out there?
Well, it requires a game plan. We sit down and we figure out our budget and where we're going to spend our money and on marketing, and we identify conferences that we attend. Those are a good source of leads. Mm-hmm. Following up on them, of course, is the most important thing. We also have a sales team, and we have sales offices in about 7 states other than Florida.
How many employees do you have then?
We have about 42.
And they're scattered across, you said, 7 states?
Yeah.
Excellent.
But all of the business is processed through our corporate office in Boca Raton, all the referrals.
Excellent. Where do you see the company growing in the next few years?
Well, in a bad recession, the claims go up. So fortunately, we are a fairly recession-proof business. We see a lot of opportunity with the new Obamacare coming into play. There are new systems that are coming in that are going to require external reviews on all medical decisions made by the carrier, the health carrier. So we see our business growing in that regard. The external review process that's going to be required on all internal denials.
What is your leadership philosophy, basically how you run the business?
Sure. We're a very open door. We have a lot of transparency with our employees. We have meetings once a month that are open forums that we want their creative juices to flow. We encourage them. We reward them with incentives to perform well, whether it be customer service or, well, everything is customer service, but our once a monthly open meeting is a great forum for us to share with them what's going on, as well as them to share with us. And all the partners, my husband and my other partner, we're all equally engaged in the operations. Although, having been here at the Strategic Growth Forum, I think that I'm going to be moving much more into a strategic role than tactically.
And that's what I was going to ask next, is how do you see your role as a CEO with regard to the operation itself?
Right. Well, the role needs to change from a founder mentality to a director mentality. And that requires getting away from the operation, which I have done over the past couple of years as our business has grown. We've experienced about a 30% growth year on year for the past 6 years. So continuing along those growth curves, it's impossible to be tactical and strategic. So, and the benefit of having been here at the Strategic Growth Forum is just that thought process has been solidified, and it's a real takeaway for me that that's what needs to happen.
What do you know now as a CEO that you wish you had known on day one?
I think the strategical versus the tactical, I thought I could do it all. I thought I could do the operations, go out, sell, be a strategic thinker, but it's very hard to do any of those well when you're trying to do it all.
Great. That's what I've got.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.